morning, welcome to Catex TV. Today is Thursday, July 2nd, 2015. My name is Matt Bernat, filling in for Frank Fortunato, who is off today. As always, you can follow more news updates on our Twitter account at Catex TV. In Knoxville, Tennessee, authorities said that at least 5,000 people are under a mandatory evacuation Thursday morning after a train derailment and fire in eastern Tennessee's Blount County. Around midnight, a train fire was reported near Old Mount Tabor Road off Highway 321 just west of the Foothills Mall. The CSX train was carrying a flammable and poisonous liquid. Mandatory evacuations in a nearby apartment complex start around 12:30 a.m. This includes a 2-mile radius. The site of the derailment is nearly 19 miles south of Knoxville. According to Blount Memorial Hospital spokesperson, 12 emergency responders were supposed to be decontaminated. A spokeswoman for the Blount County Sheriff's Office said 7 deputies are in the hospital being treated for exposure to gas. They're receiving treatment in the emergency room of the hospital. In addition to the evacuation of residents, some large businesses have been evacuated as well. The Red Cross set up a shelter at a high school in Maryville for those affected by the evacuation order. However, authorities said pets are not allowed. The evacuations will probably be in effect for about 24 to 48 hours, according to the website for the Environmental Protection Agency. Acrylic is primarily used in the manufacture of acrylic and monoacrylic fibers. It is known to cause mucous membrane irritation, headaches, dizziness, and nausea. If you live in Oklahoma and you've been injured by an earthquake that was possibly triggered by oil and gas operations, you can now sue the oil company for damages. That's the effect of a ruling by the Oklahoma State Supreme Court, which on Tuesday rejected efforts by the oil industry to prevent earthquake injury lawsuits from being heard in court. Instead of being decided by juries and judges, the industry was arguing that cases should be resolved by the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, a state regulatory agency. The state's high court rejected that argument. The ruling is a win for Sandra Ladra, the woman at the center of the lawsuit. Ladra claims that on November 5, 2011, she was watching television with her family when a 5.6 magnitude intraplate earthquake struck, causing huge chunks of rock to fall from her fireplace and chimney. Some of the rocks fell into Ladra's legs and into her lap, causing what her lawsuits describe as a significant injury. Ladra claims $75,000 in damages against the Tulsa-based oil and gas company New Dominion LLC and Cleveland, Oklahoma-based Spess Oil Company for allegedly causing the earthquake. According to the lawsuit, the companies directly caused the earthquake through wastewater injection, a process in which oil companies take the leftover water used to drill wells and inject it deep into the ground. There is some science that backs up the claim, as a study by the University of Oklahoma, Columbia University, and the U.S. Geological Survey linked the 2011 earthquake to wastewater injection. The issue of whether oil companies can be held responsible has been closely watched in Oklahoma, where seismic activity has been steadily on the rise since the start of the fracking boom there in 2009. Right now, the state averages 10 small earthquakes a day. On June 26th of this year, there were 25 quakes. A 5.8 magnitude earthquake has struck off the Solomon Islands, but there are no reports of damage and no tsunami warnings have been issued as of this time. The quake hit at a depth of 8.9 kilometers, 92 kilometers from Kirakira, and 334 kilometers from the capital of Honiara. The Solomons are part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, a zone of tectonic activity known for frequent volcanoes and earthquakes. For the third time in less than 2 weeks, an earthquake has struck off of southwestern Nova Scotia. With a magnitude of 3.6, the earthquake Wednesday afternoon was the strongest one of the three. Natural Resources Canada confirmed the quake hit at 3:32 p.m. local time, just off the coast of Digby Neck. There were no reports of damage, but the quake did not go unnoticed by local residents. Several people in Yarmouth took to social media after the quake, describing the sensation as resembling snowplows charging towards their homes, or like a dozen transport trucks applying their air brakes. Wednesday's earthquake follows 2 weaker quakes on June 20th and 27th, respectively, with magnitudes of 2.5 and 2.9. The epicenter of both quakes were roughly in the same area, nearly 40 kilometers southeast of Digby. According to Natural Resources Canada, neither of the first 2 quakes was felt locally. Starting today, July 2nd, California's strict new insurance rules for Uber and its ride-hailing rivals take effect. The law, passed close to a year ago, aims to clear up the ambiguity around when drivers are truly on the roads versus just driving around in their private cars, and whose insurance kicks in as a result. This may sound wonky, but it's much more than legalese, as the tragic case that helped spur the legislation shows. It's a genuine matter of life and death. On New Year's Eve 2013, a driver for UberX, the company's lower-price service, which drivers use their own private vehicles, ran into a family in a San Francisco crosswalk, killing a 60-year-old girl and seriously injuring her mother and brother. Uber said at the time the driver wasn't covered by its insurance at the time because while he did have the Uber app open and was waiting to book a ride, he hadn't accepted a fare and had no passenger in the car. As such, the company said he wasn't technically working for Uber. This blurry phase is what's referred to as period 1, the time in which a driver is logged into the app but has not yet booked or picked up a passenger. As of today, Uber and other so-called transportation network companies must provide primary third-party liability insurance covering the cost of injury, death, and property damage to third parties during period 1. They must also maintain $200,000 of excess liability coverage in the case of particularly bad accidents. In effect, the companies are now liable from the time drivers open their apps until the time the driver closes them. The law also clarifies that drivers' personal insurance for their private vehicles can no longer cover period 1. This prevents ride-hailing companies from claiming their insurance policies shouldn't kick in because drivers already have personal coverage. The new law kicks in at a time when Uber, Lyft, and other ride-hailing companies are surging in popularity and reach. Uber says that more than 1 million people have already driven for the startup, and both companies use aggressive recruiting tactics to get even more people driving on their platforms. But a lack of clarity around insurance rules has left everyone, the companies, drivers, passengers, and insurers, fumbling to manage risk and assign responsibility. That is the news for today. Thank you for watching. If we have any breaking news, you can follow it on our Twitter account at Catex TV. Tomorrow is the observed holiday of Independence Day. The 4th of July will be observed on July 3rd here in the United States. Catex TV, therefore, will be off until Monday. So thank you for watching. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy your holiday if you're American, and we will see you again on Monday.